This is Tomonews for Thursday, March 30th.
Body cam footage shows cops shoot and kill shoplifter. Newly released police body cam video shows the fatal shooting of a 27-year-old Navajo woman by a Winslow, Arizona police officer. The woman was suspected of shoplifting and had been holding a pair of scissors. The shooting took place on March 27th when police officer Austin Shipley and a colleague responded to a shoplifting call at a convenience store near Williamson Avenue. After arriving on the scene, Officer Shipley moved to take L'Oreal Singh into custody as she fit the description of the suspect. Singh was pushed to the ground. As she returned to her feet, the officer noticed she was holding a pair of silver scissors. The pair got into a tussle and Singh fell to the ground a second time. Still holding the small pair of scissors, she moved toward Officer Shipley. Officer Shipley opened fire. 5 bullets tore into Singh's body. As she lay dying on the ground, Shipley kept his service weapon trained on her. He gagged.
CNN staff allege racial harassment. According to a growing list of angry employees, CNN may as well stand for Caucasian News Network. Last December, CNN was hit with a lawsuit that claims African-American employees in similar positions are paid less than white staff. The lawsuit also alleges that African-Americans working for CNN and other Time Warner subsidiaries are denied promotions by a glass ceiling. What's more, CNN's glass walls keep African-American staff out of senior positions in powerful revenue-generating departments. 175 current and former employees have requested to join the class action lawsuit. Now this is on YouTube, so there's certain words we can't use lest this video be demonetized. So let's just say some of the plaintiffs allege they were subjected to pigmentationally biased slurs by their superiors, which we don't dare repeat. CNN's parent company Time Warner has until April 14th to respond to a motion requesting to amend the original complaint to punitive class action. Robert Durst arrested after saying he killed them all on TV. Robert Durst, a son of one of New York's wealthiest real estate families, was arrested on Saturday in New Orleans after new evidence linking him to the possible slaying of his friend Susan Berman in 2000 came to light. Durst first came to media attention when his wife, Kathleen McCormick, mysteriously disappeared following an argument the two had on January 31st, 1982. Then, in 2000, police planned on interviewing Durst's longtime friend Susan Berman to ask her about the disappearance of McCormick. But before they could do so, Berman was found shot dead, execution-style, in her home after police received an anonymous letter directing them to her body. Later, in the documentary filmed by HBO, Durst confessed he wrote the address on the envelope, but says he did not send the note to police. In September 2001, body parts belonging to Durst's neighbor, Morris Black, surfaced in plastic garbage bags in Galveston Bay, Texas, along with a saw and a carving knife. Durst, who had disguised himself as a young woman, was arrested after police found Black's blood and more garbage bags in his apartment. However, he remained on the run for 6 weeks until police arrested him for shoplifting in Pennsylvania. Police found 2 loaded guns, marijuana, almost $40,000 in cash, and Morris Black's driver's license in Durst's rental car. Durst confessed to killing Black, but was acquitted of murder after he claimed he killed Black in self-defense while trying to wrestle a gun away from him. On the final episode of a 6-part documentary about Durst, he seemingly made a confession that he killed them all on a microphone he wore during filming.
Clever dog grabs ball from water without getting wet.
Strep throat leads to little girl's leg amputation. An aspiring young dancer in Ohio is recovering in hospital after a case of strep throat led to a severe infection that caused her to lose her leg. 6-year-old Tessa Puma developed a case of strep throat and was prescribed some antibiotics in early March. But then last week, when she got hit with the flu, she started complaining to her parents about pain in her arms and legs. Tessa went to 2 hospitals before doctors diagnosed her with necrotizing fasciitis, a flesh-eating bacterial infection. The pain in her legs intensified. When doctors performed surgery to relieve swelling, they discovered severe damage in her left leg, in addition to parts of her shoulder and back. Necrotizing fasciitis can develop when bacterial infections migrate from the bloodstream and infect membranes surrounding muscles or other internal organs. Doctors think the strep bacteria entered Tessa's bloodstream and caused the infection. The infection got so bad that doctors were unable to find a pulse in her leg, so in order to help her heal, they amputated her left leg from the knee down. Tessa is recovering in the Akron Children's Hospital, but will need further procedures and other parts of her left leg removed to help her survive. Pitbull-type dog viciously attacks toddler. A toddler in the UK is lucky to be alive after she was ruthlessly mauled by a pit bull while playing. The horrifying event took place earlier this week at a playground in the Jensen'sdale area of Chatham when 1-year-old Victoria Rosette Unibon was out with her 14-year-old sister Christina. A dog believed to be a pit bull-type breed reportedly somehow managed to break free of a leash, then leapt over a fence to attack Victoria, swinging her back and forth in its jaws. 6 other children at the playground heroically tried to get the dog to stop its attack, and finally the animal released the child. The creature, which had been ferocious just moments ago, was then calmly taken away by a teenage girl and chained to a ring. But when armed officers arrived at the scene, they yelled at the crowds to stand back before they shot the pit bull twice, killing it. A man identified as Michael Thornton, as well as the teenage girl, they are arrested for the dangerous dog act. The next day, a separate woman was also detained in connection with the attack. Reports allege the canine is a serial offender. An area mom told the media she believes her son was pinned down and scratched by the same dog just 1 day before it mauled Victoria. The young victim was taken to a London hospital where she's said to be in stable condition, recovering with her parents.
Father slashes son, killing him during fight with wife. There once was a 12-year-old Chinese boy surnamed Fong who was a good student with a dumb father and a disabled mother. Whenever his parents quarreled, he would try to stop them from fighting. One Monday after school, he saw his parents fighting again. His father was in such a rage that he slashed his son with a knife several times, severing his carotid artery. Fong's mother was dragged out of the room by her violent husband, and that's when she saw her son bleeding on the floor. She managed to call police, but it was too late when they arrived. The father was arrested that night.
Why is Trump's phone call with Taiwan such a big deal? U.S. President-elect Donald Trump took one phone call from Taiwan, and everybody lost their minds. But why? Civil war that broke out in China in 1927 involved communist revolutionaries led by Mao Zedong and the nationalist government. The nationalists, who were defeated in 1949, fled to Taiwan, where they hoped to retake the mainland. Fighting eventually ceased, with the 2 sides being ruled separately. However, both sides continued to claim rightful rule over all of China. Communist-ruled China has maintained that Taiwan is a breakaway province, and that the 2 sides must eventually unify. The Taiwan-based government at the time declared mainland China was being controlled by illegitimate communist rebels. To this day, Taiwan is formally known as the Republic of China, while mainland China is officially the People's Republic of China. The United States and its allies recognize the government in Taiwan as China's rightful rulers, with Taiwan officials claiming China's seat at the United Nations. However, the U.S. eventually switched recognition from Taiwan's government to Beijing in 1979, and many other countries followed suit. Today, Taiwan is a democratic sovereignty, where most of its citizens say they will not surrender their freedoms to unify with the mainland. However, Taiwan is also unable to formally declare independence, as China has threatened such a move with military force. China is also concerned that an independent Taiwan would create a precedent for other regions, such as Tibet, to more vigorously push for separatism. China has made convincing threats. It conducted missile exercises in 1996, when Taiwan held its first direct presidential elections. The move was aimed at keeping people from voting for Li Denghui, who has advocated Taiwan's separate status from China.
Pokemon Go users fall victim to armed robbers. A popular new smartphone app is encouraging users to catch 'em all, but instead of catching Pokemon, some nefarious robbers in Missouri used it to lure victims instead. Pokemon Go uses augmented reality to place pocket monsters or Pokemon in real-world locations. Users can then catch and collect them using a smartphone and GPS signal. The game features locations called Pokestops where users can gain or buy items. At one such Pokestop in O'Fallon, Missouri, 4 men set up a lure module to attract Pokemon. The lure is seen by other players who flock to the area to catch the creatures. Once the player arrives at the location, the men proceed to rob them at gunpoint. Officers were able to arrest the 4 robbers on Sunday. They were believed to be responsible for almost a dozen robberies in 2 Missouri counties. 3 of the suspects have been charged with first-degree robbery and armed criminal action. The 4th, a 16-year-old, is currently in juvenile custody.